So this last video is to tell you how to host a Passover meal. And we have these little booklets called the Messianic Passover Haggadah, which you need to learn to practice saying things with that throaty sound because there's a lot of that in here. Everything that you need to say in Hebrew is written in Hebrew but transliterated into English as well. So you can actually read these things, which you will do in your Passover meal, that say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kidshanu bidvaru vetzivanu al achilat maror. So whenever you say these kind of words, you just have to act like you know what you're saying and just go for it, but just use that really throaty kind of sound and kind of a little bit of a Yiddish accent, and then everyone will believe that you actually know how to speak Hebrew. So the way this works is this is the whole script for the evening. You will want to read this, familiarize yourself with it, and then select people from your group that will play each of the parts. There's a leader part, there's a woman part, there's another leader part, there's a all part. The all parts everyone will say together. The leader parts just the leader will say. There's a part for a child or a couple parts for children. There's some music in here. If you want to do music, if you've got somebody in your group that can do music, you can sing the songs. If you don't have somebody that can do music, you can fake it, you can sing it, you can skip the singing, whatever it is you want to do. You can even, go on YouTube and get the songs, I'm sure, if you look those things up, those of you that are resourceful, to actually hear what they sound like. But the whole thing is basically we do this meal, and it involves drinking of wine and eating of bread, and it's matzah bread that we use. We use wine when I do it in our groups. If you want to use grape juice, you can do that. It's just not nearly as fun, but you can it's really something for the whole family to participate in. There's bitter herbs, and there's all these symbolic parts that you eat, but there's also a good meal that you eat. And Debbie Gilbert is putting together a recipe, a book of recipes and instructions on how to prepare the meal so that it's really good. Because a lot of times people do these Passover Seder things, and it's just kind of the symbolic parts of it, and it's kind of gross. We eat the symbolic parts, and we do that, but we also have a great meal of lamb, matzo ball soup, the charaset, which is this apple mixture that's really good that Debbie knows how to make and will show you how to make. The matzah that we eat together. We usually have some salads, and you can add things to it. There's no real no-nos, except probably don't eat things like pork. It just kind of would kill the whole Jewish Passover kind of theme. The Jews actually don't usually eat lamb at their Passovers. Since there's no place to sacrifice the lamb at the temple, they've kind of done away with that, and they substitute in this egg, and a lot of times they'll have chicken. If you don't like lamb and you don't want to do lamb, you can have chicken, but we always do lamb because it just feels more authentic and it feels like the real deal. We don't actually put the real lamb blood on our doorposts, but we do symbolically put something on the doorposts to remind us of what the Jews would do at Passover. We set out an extra chair for Elijah, which is an empty chair that there's a part in here where you talk about that. But if you read through the book, you should be able to understand everything that you need. And then if you go through the instructions that Debbie will send you, you'll have all the recipes and the other details that you need. And then if you have any questions, you can call Debbie, and she will give you that information. And we'll get you her number and email and stuff when she sends you the emails. So if you have any other questions about the Passover thing, we can talk about it more, but this should be enough to get you going. Just make sure you read this book through a few times to understand what you're doing, and then divvy up the parts. You're kind of going to be like a director in a play, and you're going to be leading people through this kind of dramatic reading of the whole Passover story and how it ties together in Jesus. But everything you need will be in your instructions, except for obviously the food and all the preparations, which you can divvy up among your group. Passover for me and for those of us that do it on a regular basis has been just a really rich time to remember kind of the history of where we've come from as a people and how it was fulfilled in Jesus. And it's just a rich time for family. And it's a lot of fun. So enjoy.